In this video, I'm going to talk about why we self-sabotage. Hey guys, it's Abby and welcome back to another video. So why do we do this? Why is there something we're going after and we're going to get it, or things are going good and then all of a sudden you have this impulse or something comes over you and basically you sabotage yourself, right? You stop the momentum or you do something that completely devastates what you had working for you. Why does that happen? It doesn't make any logical sense. And I know that I can speak from experience and say that I have had these things happen to me where, I've had a lot of success and I'm going and I'm doing the thing. And then I start doing this other thing that's in complete opposition and contradiction, and it ends up hurting me. Why? Well, I think it's important to understand that there really is no self-sabotage. We're not actually looking to sabotage ourselves. That's not the case, although it's hard to understand that it's not when those things are in existence, right? When you look at a situation like, how could it not be that? Well, what I'm going to ask you to do is see it a little bit differently. See it as one part of you thinks that this is in your best interest, you doing this new goal. For instance, let's have an example, right? So say you're going to, your goal is to lose weight, right? And you start doing research and you start making a plan. You find somebody to work out with, or maybe you're just doing it alone. Maybe you find a great gym and you do all the classes, right? And you've committed, you start meal prepping, you start doing all these things, and people around you are really starting to see, your hard work, and they're like, wow, you look so good. How much weight have you lost? You've lost 10, 20, 30 pounds, right? You're going and you're going, you're doing this great thing. And then something happens and maybe you sneak, what you used to love to eat. You think, oh, this is fine. I've worked so hard. And that's basically that little tiny crack to the old patterns. Before you know it, you get out of going to the gym, you start talking yourself out of it, and you find yourself pretty much similar situation to where you started. So one part of you, in the best interest of you, sees, oh, being healthier, working out, losing weight, that would really be in my best interest. I'm going to go that way. Now, there's another part of you that is also looking out for your best interest. It could be coming from a multitude of things. It could be coming a lot of times from a painful past. And the biggest thing is that part, which is self-sabotaging, that part's doing that because it's in just a pure survival mindset, right? It sees that it is not in your best interest to lose the weight, to maybe get the attention, to maybe whatever it is, because it feels that having the excessive weight in somehow or another is protecting you, is helping you, is keeping you safe. Because most likely, if you're struggling with weight, you've probably struggled with weight when you were younger, and there's something around a specific time of your childhood, if you start to really get into it, it's going to reveal why this part of you finds it in your best interest to keep weight on. And there's a whole bunch of other things that you could get into. It doesn't just have to do with weight. It could be you getting a job, right? Maybe you've only had this one type of job, an entry-level job, or a low responsibility job, but you're like, what, I want more out of life. I want to be able to make more money, to save. I want to get a house. I want to be providing for my family. You start going out there and you're rising up in the ranks, and then something that you do really sabotages that. Maybe you show up late, maybe you start going out and drinking and you're showing up and making poor choices. Whatever it is, something from your past is triggering, it's being triggered and saying, oh my gosh, I'm not safe. I need to protect myself. This thing right here is the thing that's jeopardizing me. I need to shut this down. I need to get away from it. It is the same basically flight or fight response that you're going to get from if a bear jumped out from the forest and it is in your face and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm about to die. I'm having a full physiological response. My stress hormones are going up. I'm not really able to think as clear. All my blood's going to my extremities so I can run, right? As you start getting in those situations with this other part that's getting triggered that's saying, I am in danger. You're going to start being less and less logical, not being able to see it from a big picture, like, oh, hang on a second. Maybe this isn't as helpful for me anymore. But you're in the trigger, so you're not able to see that. You're saying, oh my gosh, I'm in danger, I'm in danger, I'm in danger, I gotta run, I gotta go, I gotta get out of this. And that's the essential thing of self-sabotage. You have two conflicting parts of you that are looking out for your best interest. That's it. You could say this is sabotaging that, but you could say that the good thing is sabotaging the not so good or the not positive thing, right? It's relative because it's different parts of your life. Going back and really looking at what behavior is causing this, what happened to me that is showing that it is dangerous. It could be even relationships, right? You get in a relationship and you start doing things that are contradicting and really messing up the connection. Well, you look back and you can say, oh man, I can see that when I was younger, really opening up and being vulnerable was scary. It got me in, my family wasn't like that, right? Then you have a whole multitude of other things about other people's beliefs that you adopted, again, for survival. Your very first cultural experience is your family. So if you have rejected parts of yourself for your family to fit in with them because that is their, acceptable way of being, then you rejected yourself to fit in with them because you needed them to survive, to eat, for shelter, and even to clothe yourself and clean yourself when you're a little baby. So there's so much stuff that gets wrapped up to that in that, because when you do reject yourself, then you're fragmented. And when you're fragmented, you're going to reject yourself that is part of you authentically. And so it gets all kinds of twisted and entangled. So, if you look at the relationship part that I just mentioned in that aspect, and you really want this love and affection because that's who you were as a child, that you love to connect, you just really want to be authentic, vulnerable, all these things. But when you were little, it was disowned and, your family thought, oh, no, that's not what we do. We can't really open up and share our emotions. So you have these two conflicting things. So when the adult part of you really is going back to that authentic self, the child you, the younger you, the part that needed survival, it's going to interfere with that, looking out for your best interest. So there's a lot of different things that can happen. And the more you see it as that, where it's two parts of you that are conflicted, they're both looking out for your best interest and they're both going back and forth. It's more of a tug of war. And what you need to do is go back in there, start understanding what two components are happening, right? There's a tug of war, so there's two different sides, there's two different ideas. But when you can look and say, okay, this is what this one wants, this is what this one wants, which one is going to actually serve me right now in life, okay? And you understand that. Then look at the one that's not helping that's not, compatible. And start understanding where and when that first happened in your life, because I guarantee it's not the first time that's happened. And when you start looking at where it happened, when it happened, start asking why it happened. What was going on around you at that time of your life? Start really digging in there, and you'll really be able to get into some big wounds and some big understandings of yourself, as well as how you had to adapt and how long that idea has not been serving you and how much you've actually ended up hurting yourself because of that initial self-rejection. That self-rejection came out of a very basic survival need. So it's important for you to understand that, be generous and gentle with yourself and have compassion, because this happens to all of us in a variety of ways. But it's really important to understand that self-sabotage isn't about, oh, I don't want to be successful. It's about looking at why you think that's not in your best interest. That's the biggest thing you can ask yourself. What is going on? What other component would be going on to think that that's not my best interest? What is this thinking is my best interest? And why did that happen? Why did I develop those ideas? Who did I learn from? And what original wound will this reveal that I can heal from and then be free from? I can take the wisdom of that instead of having it continually be a wound. So I really hope this video has helped to show you that self-sabotage isn't what it sounds like. It's two competing parts of you that are looking out for your best interest. and sometimes they clash. And looking to see what serves you now and unraveling the wounded part of you that is just trying so hard. It's your inner child that really needs love and affection and compassion. The more consciousness you can have in the situations when this happens, the more and more understanding and self-awareness you'll develop. So again, I hope you've enjoyed this. I hope that this has been helpful to you. If so, please click like. If you haven't done it already, please hit subscribe. The bell notification lets you know as soon as I release my next video, which is every single day. I'll see you on the next one.